People often ask me this question: which is more important for my organization, prevention, detection, or response? I often ask them with a simple statement: prevention is ideal, but detection is must. However, any detection without a response has very little value. Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Ravindra Bhaviskar, and I'm working as a Director Sales Engineering here at Sophos. And today, during my presentation, I will help you to answer EDR, XDR, or MDR, which is right for my organization. So let's get started. Let's first look at NIST Cybersecurity Framework. And let's first look at the three important central pillars, which is protect, detect, and respond. Historically, cybersecurity has focused on protection and preventing threat exploiting the weakness within the organization. This is changing as organizations accept that due to the lapse or gaps in defense, and this is paired with the lack or the attack sophistication, threats will enter in the organization and often remain undetected for weeks or months, exploiting data and moving across your assets. Businesses are increasingly focused on threat detection and response to address this risk. So what will detection and response will give me? Number one, detecting previously unseen threats, becoming more proactive in threat hunting and not waiting for them to impact. Number two, lower mean time to detect, that is MTTD, limit the damage and meet the compliance reporting regulation. And number three, learn how an incident occurred so that protection can be adopted to prevent it from occurring it again. Detection and response is also helping in falling dwell times. Dwell time means the length of time attackers remain undiscovered in a target network. This chart is taken from Verizon Data Breaches Investigation Report from 2021, showing the length of the time breach can be remain undetected. The green line is equal to months or more to detect versus blue line is equal to days or less to detect. Looking at this graph, you might think the outlook is good. Before we all congratulate ourselves, we must consider the changing nature of threats today. Since 2016, there has been a big increase in ransomware attack, which by their very nature of discovered early as they begin to encrypt your system. 2016, 68% of breaches took month or more to detect, that is over 2/3 of it. During this time, attacker and advisory group could operate with stealth and traversing through the network slowly and steadily exploiting your data. In 2020, this had dropped to just over a quarter of breaches. Still high, but a vast improvement. At the same time, most breaches are now discovered in days or less. If you look at the chart, it is almost a mirror image between 2016 and today. Let's cover quickly the threat detection and response. The ultimate goal of which is to detect attack on a sensitive data assets and neutralize incidents before they become a full breach. EDR, that is Endpoint Detection and Response, a term first coined around 2013 for the tools primarily focusing on detecting and investigating suspicious activity on the host. Back then, mainly on servers and endpoints. XDR, that is Extended Detection and Response, developed as an extension or evolution next phase of EDR. It provides for the collecting and correlating the data across many security layers like endpoint, email, server, cloud workloads, and network, and backed up with a single fully integrated management interface. MDR, that is Managed Threat and Response, Managed Detection and Response. While EDR and XDR are technology or tools, MDR facilitates the provision of these to the customers as a services. And last but not the least is SIEM. I have included it as a complementary solution. It gathers events and logs from wide array of networks and security solution, and it provides a wide angle lens, but not always a very deep and when trying to do the threat hunting. With that being said, the goal of threat detection and response, let's look at some of the methods of delivering it. First is EDR, endpoint detection and response. What can an EDR solution do for my business? As a tool that is focused on detecting and investigating a suspicious activities on servers and endpoints. EDR helps in detecting and prioritizing threats, how it got in, determine the scope and the impact of it, and then finally taking action on it. Basically, EDR can equip your existing team to achieve much deeper analysis and investigation, faster in terms of detecting and responding to the endpoint threats and incidents. EDR requires security operation administrator to have the depth of threat hunting skill and necessary background to investigate and action the response accordingly. This can be time consuming and the resource intensive. When not equipped with correct skills, the tools and the response and the process has very minimal value. Then extended detection and response, that is XDR. Now, XDR is a natural evolution of EDR. It extends beyond endpoints and server and used to collect and analyze the data across multiple security layers like endpoint, server, email, cloud workload, and network. As EDR only allows you to investigate across endpoint and server, you can only see the part of the story. In their innovation, the insights of XDR report, Gartner has highlighted three primary requirements. Number one, centralization of normalized data, maybe into a data lake, a central place where data can be stored. Number two, cross-product data analysis with correlation of security data into the incidents. And last but not the least, centralized incident response capability that change the state of individual's product. So these three requirements are built on one foundation: integration between your security controls. XDR extends beyond endpoints and server and used to collect and analyze data across many security layers. Like I said, endpoint, email, server, cloud workloads, network, mobile, and even Office 365. All hydrating data, a data lake is to allow cross-platform visibility and security response from multiple data sources. And again, the third-party endpoint and third-party firewall, these are in orange as they will be available in our second phase when we'll be launching our XDR integrated with third-party solution. So XDR can be operationally run by organization, but it is more amplified further when MDR is introduced into the equation. But XDR alone is not applicable for every organization. We all pretty much face one common challenges, that is human. In another Sophos survey of 3,400 IT managers, the responses highlighted that even with an assistance of XDR can provide, it is very hard to get much out of it if you don't have a cybersecurity skill professional or team of them. This is particularly true for organizations in SMB or lower, where the security teams does not have the required skill. The 8 to 10 people are needed to staff to build your security operations center, which can run 24/7. And that has been stated by Gartner as well. So it just not the bodies or the manpower, it is the brain power. Gartner states that these people must be experienced in the threat hunting and incident response. Very few organizations, less than 500 people, can dedicate this many people to a SOC with those skills which is required. And again, retention of those talents also is a challenge due to the resource shortage and budgetary constraints those organizations are facing. This shortage of cybersecurity expert has driven the adoption of managed threat detection and response, where EDR and XDR provides as a service. So it is a very fast growing sector, with Gartner predicting 50% of organizations will be using MDR as a service by 2025. So how MDR can help? It adds people and process to the technology of EDR or XDR. It becomes a virtual extension of in-house team to hunt for or respond to the cyber threats round the clock, 24/7. So what does MDR do? MDR provides 24/7 threat hunting capabilities, proactive posture management and improvement, neutralizing, notifying, and collaborating with in-house teams for incident and response. So to recap, so what is the answer to your question? Which is right for my organization? ADR, XDR, or MDR? These are the two questions you must be asking yourself before taking any action. How integrated are my security controls? Think about if your solution sends data in data lake. Can I run operational and threat hunt queries across cross-platform and respond to contain the neutralize of those threats? If answer is yes, the XDR will provide an additional context and the value and elevated response capabilities. The second question is, with XDR, can I hire and retain enough highly skilled cybersecurity expert to staff this every minute of the year? And does it make economic sense? XDR is a key technology, and the requirement as a part of operational, preventional, detectional, and even response strategy. But you remain wholly responsible for the people and the process, since you have the technology in the form of XDR. If you don't have people and answer is no, you can hire enough people with right skill, then you need to invest into the benefits of MDR as a service, such as managed threat response, which Sophos offer. To summarize, Sophos has all the bases covered when it comes to the today's environment, like on-prem, on cloud, or hybrid infrastructure, and even remote working. So begin with the endpoint protection, such as Sophos Intercept X, which maximize prevention and minimize the noise at detection level. Along with the other security tools which we have, like next generation firewall, cloud optics, which is a cloud posture management system, email protection, and even the zero trust network access for remote working, which is a norm today. Choose detection and response based on your in-house capabilities and availability of highly skilled, experienced threat hunters and incident responders. Otherwise, we have Sophos XDR and Sophos MDR to offer you. Whichever you choose, prevent, detect, investigate, respond, need to be the top of the mind at all the times. Having an integrated cybersecurity ecosystem such as Sophos leads to much faster detection and response than working the product across in silos. And that integrated cybersecurity ecosystem is called as Sophos Adaptive Cybersecurity Ecosystem, is an evolution of Sophos Synchronized Security. So Sophos A starts with collecting the threat intelligence from Sophos Labs, Sophos Security Operations, and Sophos Artificial Intelligence Group. This team is working 24/7 for our customers and other OEM types. The intelligence capabilities they get from there are continuously improving our next generation technologies in the form of software and hardware offerings, which you can see on your screen. Then the data lake takes information from all those products, and by doing real-time analysis, the customers can prevent breaches proactively by finding suspicious signals to avoid attack before it happens. This, of course, if they have in-house expertise to do that. Else, they can leverage our MTR, that is Managed Threat Response Team. Some customers want their own tools to interact with our ACE system. Our open APIs enable customers and partners to do that. And last but not the least, everything can be managed through a Sophos central management platform. All your security at one place for unparalleled efficiency. So to conclude, remember this one. Prevention is ideal, but detection is must. However, any detection without a response has very little value. That's it from my side. Thank you very much for your time today.